Hi, this is just a short video on how to set up your Addictive drums software with your eKit in your computer and make them small changes to make it just right. The first thing you'll need is Addictive drums from XLN. This is available through their website or various retailers. Next thing obviously you need is your eDrum kit with a module that does support Midi. Next you'll need an actual laptop or desktop computer to actually run Addictive drums. Addictive drums is not standalone, so you'll need something like Garageband or Logic Pro. This is the final bit of hardware you really need, and it's a USB to Midi interface. It comes with the two male Midi ports and a standard USB port. It's essential that you connect up your Midi cables in the correct way from your laptop to your drum brain. You need to make sure that the two cables that are labelled in and out go in the opposite in your drum brain. So the in cable goes to the out port and the out cable goes to the in port. Once connecting the cables, you need to make sure that the host select is selected on Midi, not PC or Mac, even if you're using those systems. I said this would be at the end, but this is the picture on the DTX Express of what the actual note looks like that you need to match up with the drum software. Right, okay, so now we've got our hardware sorted out, the USB MIDI face all sorted out. It's now time to really check that that's actually working, and the way to do that is obviously using the software. Addictive Drums is a software-based program to replicate real live drum sounds, but it does need a VST controller. Now I'm a Mac user, as you can see, and there are a whole range of different softwares out there to actually be able to control Addictive drums, some free, some paid. However, I've got iLive for standard, so I've actually got Garageband, although I've actually got Logic Pro as well, which actually use the same thing. So I'm going to load up a Garageband, and I've already got a track active with Addictive Drums GUI actually showing. Now, it doesn't always flash up like that. So after you've added a new track going, add new track, software instrument, you end up with this browse menu on here. You then need to select Addictive Drums, and there you are, where we are now. Now, to actually get the GUI up, what you need to do is you need to load up the sound generator, and this is the GUI here. So this is where you can actually pick all your different kit sounds, so we can change from 22-inch by 18-inch kicks all the way up to, well, just basically whatever you want. There are lots of versions out there, and there's ad packs out there that you can add to. Obviously, for different kits, you can have a look at other videos. I'm just going to load up the 90s rock kit because it's one I like at the moment. Now, something you need to make sure you do is that each of the pads on your eKit actually link to the right section. Now, there's a quick way of doing that, and that's by using the map preset. So by going to Beats and going to map preset, you can actually select the actual kit that you've got, and that will roundabout sort out what the MIDI output is giving out to the right section on your Addictive drums. Now, it doesn't always work perfectly. I noticed my foot splash was on my actual eKit on the hi-hat controller was actually showing the snare sound, so I had to obviously remap that. Now, to do that, I went to the map window, and what this allows me to do is actually look at the actual keyboard view of what all the different notes on the keyboard relate to, and I need to then match what I want that pad to give out to the one which is on the keyboard. So, for example, if I wanted my foot splash, it is actually key 83. And that's me just clicking with the actual mouse pad. Now, the problem I was having is when I was actually hitting the foot splash, so doing almost like a heel toe on the hi-hat controller, it was showing the snare. Now, the snare is actually around number 40 something. I can't remember exactly. There it is, 31. Now, that was clear then that when my brain is actually giving out key 31 for when I do the hi-hat splash. So all I had to do is just go into my controller and actually change the number from the snare sound of 41 to the sound of the foot splash, which is 83. As soon as I did that, it mapped it perfectly. Now, everybody has their drum kit set out differently. I've actually changed the symbol to being just a standard pad. So I've actually got a fourth tom. It's just the way I like it. I've actually got some gear coming in from the internet to actually replace that missing symbol. But it's just the way I wanted my kit set up. So just make sure that you've got every piece of your kit mapped out properly. It's a simple case of making sure that the key number on your drum brain, matches the key number within the software map. Another thing you need to do is make sure that your triggers are set to a dynamic mode. If you've actually got the triggers set to really easy, it will mean that you don't actually get the full advantage of the Addictive Drums software. So if I just change my trigger point to being easy, what that will mean is that in this graph here, no matter how soft I hit it, it will only actually come up about midway. So you can hear that I can go from that midpoint on that velocity curve right the way up to really thwacking my drum and getting that great sound when you really get your snare drum to pop, just like you would do in real life. Now what Addictive Drums have done, they've recorded all the snare sounds at different velocities, so that when you actually do hit it soft, it comes up with a soft snare sound. You won't do that if you've got your triggers set to being basically too harsh. So you make sure you're on a dynamic setting. Got them on the dynamic setting now. So now if I softly hit the snare, you can see that it's coming up on that velocity curve much lower. And as I hit harder, and you're getting all them different sounds from the snare drum. It's the same with the toms. So if I select tom 1, and if I hit tom 1, I'm getting that nice soft sound, but I can come and I can really get them built up there to that higher, that tighter tone that you get when you really hit the toms much harder. So that's the actual drum setup. If you've got any questions, head them my way. I don't know the ins and outs of every piece of software, but I do know how to use the map window. This GUI is the same in every piece of software, whether you've got a Windows-based piece of software or a Mac piece. What is different is how you maybe get this up. Go to the XLN audio site. There's got to be somebody on there with your piece of software who will be able to help you out with that. But for now, I hope that's helped you actually sort out and map your drums properly.